to see how long we could last. Oh, I couldn't do it. I also just noticed I'm looking a little skinny. I look a little scream maskish.
Ever
So
since I took the COO job, my cheeks have gone just straight in. I don't
yeah,
eat enough.
yeah, certain.
Working all day.
Well, I've been on that diet, but like the thing is that I feel amazing. You know what I mean? I should probably increase my protein intake a little bit instead of being lazy. That's what I really am. Because I'm eating healthy, but if I don't have the time to cook the healthy food, I just don't eat. So, or sorry, not if I don't have the time. If I'm too lazy to cook, then I just decide not to eat instead of So yeah, I'm.
That's my biggest issue too, is I feel the hunger and then I'm like, ooh, I gotta go do this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I could cook, probably take about 15 minutes, or or I could just not.
Or could
So,
just not eat and go back to work. I
yep.
could I could
So,
grab that water, maybe in your case, a Red Bull. I'm grabbing a coffee.
yeah, no, that but anyway, that so I just like when I made that face, I was like, oh my God, I mean, I've lost like I don't know 12 pounds or something in a week and a half, but it wasn't like bad weight or that's what it was. It was just all water weight and stuff. But now I'm seeing that it's falling off my face too, so I should probably intake or increase the calories, just so that I don't end up looking like a scary movie Holocaust survivor. Um, but anyway,
Oh Jesus!
being that it's Veterans Day, I thought maybe we missed the Marine Corps birthday. We were supposed to do one yesterday, but given the let me see, what word am I looking for? The events that transpired last week for me, and I know you've been having some fun things go on within the company. Um, do you ever reminisce about the Marine Corps?
Do I ever reminisce?
Yeah, do you ever think,
It's
oh man,
ironic.
did I like, I think about the people all the time, you know what I mean? But then,
Yeah, yeah.
so there's these times when I'm I'm managing my guys, right? I know you're not managing the type of people that I'm managing, but still managing my guys, and sometimes I just want to fucking yell at them. You know what I mean? Like I just want to say, "Are you fucking stupid?" I wanna I wanna be able to treat them like I was able to treat Marines, right? In the early days, back in the early days, not towards the end when things got political, but sometimes I want to do that. You know what I mean? And sometimes um, I, I miss that mainly that aspect of it. And I know you do too. I know there's sometimes some people that you just want to fucking smack the shit out of.
I manage 10 employees in a
Hmm.
minute, so if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, um, it's pain. Um, the way that I used to be able to manage, man, when something dumb was said, I could readjust them so they would never say that stupid thing again. What I mean by
Yeah.
readjust is I could either yell at them if that's what they needed, because every Marine was different.
Yep.
You could yell at some of them. Some other ones you needed to pull aside and just speak to them like they were
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
man. Got
Hmm.
that across. Or some of them you just needed to embarrass.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it's honest. Like some of them just took the correction as is right away, very simple. But you learn, how to correct each Marine underneath your charge. Um, and the thing is, a lot of the ways that I corrected those people, I'm not saying is is suited for the civilian world. The reason why I say that is, um, I mean, I'll get an HR complaint just, and I'm not saying it in any bad way. I can still do it in the civilian world, and I do just fine. But they don't come across the same way as someone literally just me being just as blunt as going, "Hey, that was stupid.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not going to
Yep.
think like that anymore. It's this." People in the civilian world will go do an HR complaint on that, while Marines go, Yeah, I can't say anything. They can say something, but it's not going to do them any good because the chain of command.
Well, it used to,
You
right?
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like our early
Oh yeah, yeah.
days.
I don't
Yeah.
know how it is anymore. If someone's complaining over that little bit, I can promise you, every Marine underneath my charge, literally their name was bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
didn't
that's
really have a rank. I mean, if they were underneath me, obviously not other groups of Marines, but my direct Marines underneath me, I called them a bitch. Hey, bitch, come here. Hey, like it was just how it was.
yeah, yeah. And it's not to because a lot of people that might listen to this might go, "Oh my God, that's so mean. That's condescending." But
Is
it's
what it
not.
is.
So the word bitch was essentially uh, uh, another what word am I looking for? Punctuation mark in a sentence. That's basically what it is. You started your sentence with bitch, right? It didn't even matter what it was. Like, bitch, let's go to chow, right? Or bitch, it's hot today.
You
Like,
started it as a statement piece because they pay attention and they listen to it, and it is a literal shock
yeah,
that by doing that, people actually pay attention and
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
In the
So,
Marine Corps, I'm not saying that's going to correlate to the civilian world by any means. I'm not going around calling people bitches to get
right.
their attentions in the
No,
civilian
I
world.
made
I'm
that
going to get
mistake.
punched, stabbed, kicked, something nowadays.
Did I tell you that story?
Or what?
It was after, I want to say, right before I went to Japan, I would guess. It was either right after, I think it may have been right after boot camp, because that's where you learn it. Your drill instructors are calling everybody bitch. So very quickly, all of us pick up saying bitch as like I said, starting the sentence. That's just the way that it worked. So we went home, and one of the friends that I had, female friends, right? We went on a hike or something, and I think I tripped, right? I think I tripped, and I was like, "Oh, bitch!" And she smacked the shit out of me. And I was like, "What the fuck was that?" She goes, "You just called me a bitch." I was like, "No, no, I did not." I was like, "That's just. I'm sorry. That's just a habit now. That's I just punctuate my sentences with that." But yeah, she smacked the piss out of me, and I was like, "Wow, I guess I should probably watch." I forgot you, that people on the outside are soft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so funny because I've been asked when I tell people that's like, have you ever been pressed? I go, I've had 6'8" Marines that I've called bitch
Yeah,
who haven't even had an issue with it. Then on the flip side, I've got 5'2" people who laugh at it, and
yeah,
it's just the fact that it's just a way in the
that's it.
Marine Corps. And again, maybe that's motor T, maybe, but
No,
I'm just
no,
going to
that was
assume that's the whole Corps because
everybody.
well, this is what I have assumed, and the more I talk to Marines, the more I branch out, the more MOSs. The Marine Corps is not the same throughout. It's not the same experience
Okay.
throughout the Marine Corps based
Mm-hmm.
upon your job. It is a vast different Marine Corps
Yeah, yeah.
compared to where and what MOS you're in.
I,
That's a
I, bel
very fair statement.
yep, no, I would agree with that. But some of the things, like I said, that are just ingrained in you, like as early as boot camp, like the swearing, like there's not. I knew one Marine that
Oh
didn't
yeah, yeah,
swear.
no, 100.
Yeah, one Marine that didn't swear, and dude got his whatever this bone is right here under your eyeball broken because he was trying to joke around with some guy, and he was like, "Hey man, give me some Skittles," and the dude, like big ass Hawaiian dude, was like, or Samoan dude, he goes, "No, I'm not giving you any Skittles," and he's like, "Come on man, I just want give me a couple Skittles, right?" This dude fucking punched him in the face so hard it broke this bone. I'd never seen that before in my life. Shattered the dude's face because nicest kid in the world. Like I said, he didn't even swear. He was homeschooled, fucking everything, and yeah, he gets his face broken because he doesn't know how to joke with the right people. But anyway, certain things like that. Like I said, that you.
But to me, that's common sense. Like, and it's so hard to judge where that common sense scale should lie nowadays. Like, street smart, do you wrap street smart into common sense?
Well,
or like
yeah, there was a
where to
lot
put
of
it?
that lacking in the Marine Corps. Like I
Yeah,
saw I
well,
saw that.
culture just there was no mixing of the cultures. Like you could tell if someone was white collar, they were there. You could tell if someone was just a Southern hick from Louisiana. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, for the
Uh,
most part, I don't think, for the most part, I'm pretty sure, like that was the cool thing about it, about the Marine Corps, was that there was all of that diversity, and not one
mhm.
time, besides a couple of drunk jokes, was there ever an actual problem with another person's race? You know what I mean? Everybody,
Um,
maybe for you, but not for
I
me.
think I saw one case, and I mean like one bad, like a race issue. Um, and it was a white Southern dude, just as Southern as it could be. He became a
Yeah,
corporal and just terrorized,
yeah,
terrorized, and within 2 weeks he was
yeah.
back down.
Oh yeah,
So it
yeah.
wasn't something that lasted long.
Yeah, no, no. See, there was one guy. Well, we're Motor T, which was predominantly, um, like, well, rednecks. 90% of us were, you know what I mean? Were people that grew up in the freaking woods, or, in the country doing something. You know what I mean? That seemed to be the
That and
majority of
infantry,
mine. Yeah, yeah.
that and
So
infantry, some of the like, it's all the same.
yeah, but we had a couple of black guys, and we had one. The coolest thing was that, like, we'd have a room. There was one room, I'll never forget it, where there was a guy from, I want to say no, not Alabama, Georgia, or some one of the southern states, right? And he had a huge rebel flag, posted up behind his bed,
That's
and
what I
his
was hoping you were gonna say.
yep, and his roommate was had literally gotten his citizenship from, I don't even know what country, but he was about as dark as they come. And that was his roommate, and his roommate had his country flag, posted up, and you know what? Like, everybody gets along, but that was the thing. Like, you would never see that outside of the Marine Corps, I don't think, or outside of the military.
No, well, I mean, you don't really have an option, and that's the best.
Yeah,
That's the unique thing about the military. Most definitely, the Marine Corps is you don't get an option. Hey, your last name is this. Okay, you're bunked with this guy.
that's
Like
it.
that's as serious as it is in the Marine Corps when it comes to assignments.
Yeah, let's
That's
talk
it.
about.
Like, don't take it any more serious than that. It's last name.
Yep, and you had a pretty great experience with that, right? With a roommate that when you first got out there. I will never forget, you called me and you go, "Yo, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this guy?"
Um, all I will say is they will jip you, and I didn't know I was the cutoff
Yep.
on the. It would be different if they would have just said up front, "Hey, you are on like a reserve list, and
Hmm.
if they need to pull, you are going to be like." I would rather of that to not have the. I'll say the emotional pulls of the strings. That was very unique. Next time, all I will say is this: is if you are going into a field and someone has been through that exact place, and somehow you've already aced 95% of everything that has come inside of that particular training, maybe you should listen to 100% of the advice.
That's
I listened to 95% of the advice and excelled crazy, but did not get what I wanted in
and
the
then
end.
got burned on that last five, huh? And I mean super burned.
all I
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
What I was
Mm.
actually talking about was your roommate when you first got out there. Um, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about that because
That's
that
even
was awesome.
worse.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So that was even better. Um, so yeah, for those of
Dean,
you that don't
awesome.
know, I joined the Marine Corps first, with little to no research done. I just pulled the trigger on it like an idiot. Um, so I go through everything. I pick a job based on a bonus that I was getting versus what I actually wanted. Did all the training, blah blah blah, and then find out that my brother signs up, and then find out after he makes it through boot camp that he's getting the same job. He's going to the exact same place and doing all the exact same things that I did. So,
Hey, I did the exact same thing you did in the sense that I left early and took the
yep,
contract that was available.
yep. So he
So it wasn't
literally,
in my direct.
yep, he literally. I mean, I'll say lucky enough to get all of the same things that I did, or sorry, do all the same things that I did just at a different time of year, right? So it's like just slightly different months, but pretty much the same, same timeline. So
Yeah, colder months.
yeah, yeah. So he gets the same MOS, which is the job, right? So he has to go to the same training. So luckily, he's got somebody who's already been through it. And actually, my new job, by the time that he's doing this, is to train people in the fleet to do exactly what he's getting trained to do at school. So, I was able to coach him basically through all of that, make sure that he had to do all the studying and crap, but I was able to help him if he had a question, when it came to the job, whatever was related to the job. But then there's a certain time in school where they come around, they say, hey, we want you to pick your top 3 duty stations. Where do you want to be stationed? And the only advice that I gave my brother was, listen, they're going to try and finagle you in to pick Hawaii. Don't do it. Everybody that picked Hawaii goes to Japan. It's a 100% proven fact. Don't pick Hawaii. And that was the only advice I gave him. That was it. I just said, don't pick Hawaii. Pick anything else, because if you pick Hawaii, you're going to Japan. And he picked Hawaii. And then they dangled it in front of him. They said, hey man, you got Hawaii. And he got all excited. He called me. He said, hey, I'm going to Hawaii. And I said, you piece of shit. I doubt you are, because they did that to a couple people in my class. And then, I don't know, what was it? A couple days later, you called me and said, nope, they got the number wrong. Literally one freaking digit in the entire unit. They got it wrong, and it sent him to freaking Okinawa, Japan. And it's the worst possible
Same.
unit in Okinawa,
Yeah.
Japan. Yep. So then he came out
It
to
was
see me.
enough said, right?
Yep. Yep. It was. And then you got there. Yep. And it was literally the worst possible unit. It was literally called Cell Block 4. That's how the island knew it. Like, that's how terrible. Because everybody that was stationed there felt like they were in prison. So, um,
Understatement.
yeah, yeah. And then you get the worst roommate
That
you could possibly get right off the rip, and then you have to deal with that. And that was, yeah, yeah. So that is one thing
yeah.
that does
Well,
suck.
luckily, I was gone for most of it on to Korea,
Yeah, yeah,
over to some other places for offloads, and then back over to advanced training. So at least for that time I was there, I was not really there for a lot of it.
yeah, yeah. You got to. That's right. You got to go do advanced school, which means you went back to the original place of training during the even colder months, right? You were there for freaking Christmas, right?
So, well, no, no, no. So for the first training, it was November and December, and then for the actual advanced training, it was into January, February, March, which was just
Yeah, still
stupid
cold.
cold.
That's the
Uh,
worst. Yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
and
It was. I was. I had to cut ice to go through the pond to do the training. It was not.
yeah,
It
because
was not fun. It
there
was
was
extremely cold.
yeah, it was vehicle recovery, and you're supposed to sink a truck and you guys couldn't even sink the truck. You had to cut the ice to sink the truck, and then jump in the ice water to hook the truck back up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And
So think
before
about
you
that.
take the truck out of the water, you got to police call or more or less sift through the water to make sure you're not dragging your truck through 10 piles of rocks or, anything that's going to damage it more. So it's real fun because the instructors throw radiators and axles at the bottom of a 10-foot pond, and you have to cut the ice out and then go retrieve the items before dragging the truck through, which the truck is completely, you know how tall they are.
Yeah,
It's
it doesn't
completely
matter.
underwater.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. The fact that you had to,
It's interesting, and I had a class full of I will just say inner city kids. And I
you had
say
one.
kids because I don't think a single one of them knew how to have a hard experience. They all obviously went through boot camp, but man, you add cold in there, it is a different element of suck.
I,
And it was me and one kid from Alabama, and we retrieved everything out of the cold ass
yeah,
water.
I was
It
about to
was
say. I know you
just,
had. Yeah, you had one guy that was worth a shit there because he went to school with me
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
regular training.
Yeah, which is ironic. Which that's just how small the Marine Corps is. I actually went, and I think there was 3 or 4 people from that class that either knew you in one way or actually
Yeah.
went to a schooling with you.
Yep. Yep. That's and some of them, like actually him specifically wasn't even stationed out there in Okinawa with me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't somebody that would have met me in passing. It was, you know what I mean? That's like you said. It's crazy how small the Marine Corps is. Which they say that as soon as you get started that that the Marine Corps is real small and you'll figure that out someday, and it's the truth. Multiple times you run into people that you didn't think you'd ever see again. And I was only in for 4 years. I can't imagine staying in for 20 and
Well,
all.
have you ran into anyone on the in person outside? Have you ran into
Um,
people or no?
I haven't not ran into them. I've went and met some. I've talked to a couple. But yeah, I mean, more often than not, well, we're in Florida, and everybody that's now got kids comes down to Disney or something. So more often than not, I'll see that somebody's only an hour away. That I spent a couple years with. So why not go see them? But I haven't just like accidentally ran into someone in passing. That'd be crazy. But
Yeah, no, I haven't either, but I've heard stories of that, and with all the different times that I've traveled through the airports, I'm really shocked I haven't ran into anybody yet.
yeah,
Um,
I don't do a lot of airport anymore, so that's
yeah,
probably a
it's not
better
that,
chance there.
but um, do you have any friends that you still go out and see, or not really?
What do you mean, like from the Marine Corps?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Other
I mean,
than like
there's
obviously if they come down and they're close by, but like, do you have any that you like actually planned a trip to go see, or no?
not unless it's on the way to something or close by something that I'm already planning. Like there's one buddy in Virginia that if I'm driving up to New York or something, I'll stop and see him. If there's actually a couple of people from my shop, they actually ended up getting married. They moved down to Jacksonville. They're just outside of Jacksonville now, so I'll probably go out and see them. That's just a couple-hour drive. So next time I'm headed that way, I'll stop and grab lunch with them. There was a kid that was in Orlando that I actually put his kitchen cabinets in for him. I remodeled his whole kitchen for him. Yeah, before he moved over to Texas now though. So, um, and then there's actually one in Georgia that I think is on this side of Georgia, so just a couple hours away. I didn't know he was that close. I thought he was in a different part of Georgia. So, I've actually been trying to get him to come on the podcast. So we'll see if he will. He got
Oh,
out and
nice.
got right into real estate investing, which is a huge jump from what I thought he would do. I think he's still going to college too, but he was, big time going to get into logistics, and now he's, started real estate investing. It's
Is it
crazy.
uh, is it the man who picked me up from the airport?
Yeah, yeah, the one that uh, what were consistently helped with when we needed something up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, he was my roommate for a little bit too. So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see
no,
if
awesome guy. That like, and that's the nice thing I like about the Marine Corps is like, I didn't know him at all. It was
yeah.
just a hey, this guy needed it, and I don't know how many times I used and abused it, but I don't know how many times I used your name in connection to get something, and or it just connected the dots back to allow help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Love
um
this.
yeah, and I mean it's not so much a little bit of my name, but not really, it's just it's not that what I'm let me fucking stop for a second. Stumbling over all my words here. What I'm trying to say is it's not that it was me specifically. You know what I mean? It's just that if you would have known anyone, like that's the good thing about the Marine Corps. 90% of the people are willing to help out
Yeah,
other
that's the
Marines.
unique thing where I'm not trying to say in the sense that because you're my blood brother that worked. Like, if that was me asking any Marine
Yeah, yeah,
and they had a friend, like an actual
exactly.
friend out in there, they would have done the same exact thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's the point that I was trying to make. Like it didn't matter that it was that we and I were
Mhm.
related or
It's a
anything.
Marine thing. It's not a.
Yeah,
It's a brotherhood in the Marine Corps, not a brotherhood in the blood
no.
sense.
I mean, that was just a cool part, that
Yeah.
whenever the connections that I had and the reputation that I set up when I needed something or whatever, and you could if you had the ability to name drop me, it kind of worked out. Usually for the benefit, I'll say. Um, but again, that I just got lucky with my career. I was able to do some pretty cool things and get in front of some pretty cool people. Um, and that's all it takes for you and I. If you get in front of the right people, you
It's we we show the rest. That's all it really ever is. It's
yeah. I was
I
just thinking
that's
about
it.
something similar to that, the other day where, uh, like our last topic I think that we discussed was like delegating things, right? And like figuring out what it is that
Mhm.
you're good at in business, and then delegating the rest, right? Or delegating all of it. You know what I mean? So you can focus on just specific things. Uh, but anyway, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, man, something that I'm really good at is like the beginning of the sale, building the rapport, getting people on my side. And then I'll stop, and then I need to hand it over to a closer, somebody that's gonna, all right, here's the money, let's go ahead, let's sign this. Why wouldn't you sign it? Is there any reason not to sign it? You know what I mean? Like that's not me. But I can get somebody on my side. I
Um,
can.
it it's so funny. Um, I mean, I went through the fact of I literally worked with a gentleman for 2 months straight to learn how to close like that because I wasn't the person to do it. I could not do
Yeah,
it for the life of me
I
um,
still don't want to do it.
until I saw it day in and day out for three, 400 sales back to back to back, and I'm like, that's how you not, you shouldn't do it, plus how you should do it sometimes.
Yep, yep.
Here's how we
Y-
adjust this to make this not seem like I'm going to get stabbed tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the
But
thing is
awesome.
it's not always that it's a certain. It's not necessarily bad to be a closer like that. It I just it
No,
does not. I'm not comfortable with some of the tactics.
no.
However,
Stick to your strong suits.
yeah, yeah. But however, there are people that I've definitely passed on because I was too afraid to do those, not too afraid, too uncomfortable to do those things, right? Um,
Mhm.
so my company loses money because I'm not willing to ask those questions or counter those people. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, dude, I agree. What I will say is this: I can close 70% better than what I did
Hmm.
prior to working with that gentleman,
Yeah.
but still to this day in my industry, he's I'm not saying for business to stick for, and it's because of my industry. If you're just talking about closing, the simple fact of getting the check that moment, that day,
Yeah.
I honestly don't know of someone better. And I would
Yeah.
hand them all the business if that's all it took to get the cash.
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's that strong. But it's not the
Yeah.
case for me. I know for your business you can capture it like that because you do the fulfillment. I have to hope the
Right. Right.
fulfillment works on the back end for me. It's
Yeah.
completely different than how you're doing it. You control the fulfillment.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, yeah. No, if that's funny, I've got a real big issue going on right now with one of my subcontractors. Damaged some of my homeowners' products, some of my homeowners' um, possessions. You know, their personal
Yeah.
items. Um, and it's something that isn't really repairable. So the subcontractor says, okay, well, here, let me give you a credit for what all this is worth right now. If I were to buy this new for you, here's what it's worth, right? Not that any of that was new, so technically that's probably not worth this, right? But I'm going to give you a little extra. Here's what
Mhm.
here's what it's worth. Um, However, the homeowner is uh, there's a lot more to the story too that I'll explain a little bit of it in a minute. But anyway, the homeowner is uh, upset because it's sentimental stuff. You know, it's stuff that they've had for 25 years that they kept for a reason. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't throw it away. It meant something to them. So although the face value is $50, you know, you can't replace it because they've had
It
it for 20 years. You know what I mean? They want
makes
that.
sense.
They want to
That
keep
makes sense.
exactly what they had. They just want it cleaned or whatever, and it's just not possible. Um, so you know, there's an interesting situation there. I don't remember how or why I got into this. I think it was because so that guy, right? He says, the homeowner says, well, listen, I'm not gonna, I appreciate that credit, but it doesn't replace, what I had here. I'm not willing to pay you anything unless you're able to return these to their previous condition, right? If you can return them to their previous condition, then I will pay you everything because you did do the work, everything was done correctly, minus the fact that you damaged my stuff, right? So he says, listen, I'm willing to buy new stuff for you. Otherwise, I'm losing money on this job. I'm not willing to give you any more money, right? So the reason that I'm involved but not involved is really I'm kind of just a mediator for the whole project, start to finish, because I'm not being paid to manage this project. I'm just kind of helping out, right? So that's not really my client,
Hmm.
it's just
That's what
as a
I
friend,
thought. And wow,
right?
that's icing on the cake. That's
Yeah,
icing on
yeah.
the cake for
So
that one.
so I'm kind of, helping, helping get things done and making sure that things are accomplished and everybody's amicable at the end. But so that's the dilemma right now. And as a business, I see both sides. Why did you have this personal stuff in the house that you really cared about? Why would you have it on a construction site? Okay, why would you be storing it in a house that's under construction? Um, Homeowner's point of view is, well, why didn't you go around and cover stuff up, knowing that you were gonna be potentially making a mess, right? Because I've never once gone onto a job for this specific trade that hasn't covered everything up. Even this company, I've used them in the past, and they cover everything up. This one time they didn't. You know what I mean? And it was an accident. It's not like, they actually had put up covering, and the covering blew out in a spot that they couldn't see. So, blah 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 blah. Anyway, it's just an interesting situation. You know what I mean? So I'm I'm stuck in the middle of it, and we're just, it's one of those things. We'll see what happens. But my question, what would you
Well,
do?
I'll throw you one. I'll throw you one that will make you basically the same thing, just in a whole different industry.
Okay.
Um, I had, you could say, an independent contractor that was working with us on um, intaking new individuals, and they set some crazy expectations that now they're not here to see them, flourishing
Yep.
and
Yep.
come into light for that company. So
Okay.
now those things are now being known to the individuals who have to actually partake and make those things happen, which are not
Okay.
real,
Yep.
realistic.
Yep.
And now I have to be the mediator of, hey, this is what was said, not possible. Where would you like to move forward? I've got to be the a third person party in this, but also at the same time, it's on my shoulders to fix it. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep. 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 Same. Same.
So same thing. Ultimately, it always falls back on us, but it's how can how do you make that in the best light for everyone? Because I see it from both sides on where the dilemma occurred and how it could have been stopped both ways. But how do you find that middle ground to where everyone is pleasantly displeased the same?
Yeah. Yep. So that's
That's the best
exactly.
way I'll say it because no one ever is happy in that type of scenario.
Nope. Nope. Especially because the guy had the subcontractor had submitted a bid already, and I said, "Hey, listen, we didn't have that much in the budget. I've done a lot of work with you, and I appreciate everything. Is there any way that you can help me out on this?" So he's already knocked off quite a bit of money. You know what I mean? Before he even started the job, and then he does the job, makes a mistake, and tries to offer more money as much as he possibly can. Without going negative on the job. And so, it's tough because he trusts me to make sure that things happen, right? And then the homeowner is also trusting me to make, you know what I mean? So it's like, um,
It puts you in that spot to where it's like, okay, and I look at it all the time because I'm between agents and pay. It's like, okay, what's the best scenario to where, again, everyone's pleased and the house really doesn't have to come out any money because the house isn't actually liable for it, but at the end of the day, we got to make it happen.
yep.
So how do we make it happen?
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, it's fun.
fun
It's
things
a
to
fun
think
dance.
about, but those are the issues you run into as a business owner. You know what I mean? You gotta play both sides, or sorry, you gotta understand both sides and figure out a solution that helps everybody. So, um, yeah. Anyway, that's something that I'm working on this week. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I think we've been going for like 40 minutes, if you want to call it.
Yeah, no, good one there. A little bit of everything there. A little bit
Yeah, we
of Marine Corps
somehow we
stuff, a
turned
little
it
bit.
into business at the end, but yeah, I figured we'd just talk a little bit about the military because I had a dream the other day that I had went back in, and the dream started out great. I was like, man, fuck, I love this. Like, I love being around and mentoring and
Miss the
coaching.
people.
Yep. And then I got fucking I had to do something fucking stupid. I don't remember what it was. Fill out some kid had gotten in trouble and I had to fill out NJP paperwork for something stupid, right? And I was like, "Oh, that's right. This is why. This is why I'm not here anymore."
Well, I will say this: the one thing I did miss about the Marine Corps, in all honesty, is the amount of structure that it actually
Yeah,
had, and I
that
don't
was
mean
really
in
nice.
the sense of discipline in the yelling aspect. I just mean in the sense of corporation structure. I miss just going into work and knowing what I need to be done to make something grow and to hit the ultimate goal.
Yeah, yeah,
That
no.
was ultimately nice. Now I go ahead and create that and ultimately get there, but it's always nice to have that ultimate thought of, oh, it's already done for me. I just have to go make it work.
Not only that, but also the um, relentless accountability. Like you can't. You literally are not able to fuck up. Otherwise, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Like when you own your own business, you kind of you make your own schedules. You make
You can get as lazy as you want. There's
exactly.
no one holding you accountable. The ultimate, that's what I was more or less when I'm talking about that structure trading is
Yeah, yeah.
you ultimately know what to do, how to do it, when to do it,
Yep.
and more or less how fast you need to execute it to be able
Yep.
to hit the certain benchmark.
Right.
And if you don't hit the certain benchmark, guess what? They have everything put in place for you to train to hit that benchmark.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's so hard to not excel,
Yeah, and
honestly.
that's no, you're absolutely right. It's you have to try to be a shitbag. You know what I mean? Like it's all you have to do is be slightly. I mean, if you just do the bare minimum and just do what you're told, show up to PT and run 2 miles. You don't even have to run it fast. Just show up and run it. Guess what? You're better than the other people that are specifically trying not to do it. You know what I mean? There are, you call it skating, where they literally are going out of their way to try not to work. So all you have to do is what you're told. It's pretty simple. You know what I mean? That's why I always say like boot camp was still to this day one of the easiest things because you fucking are told.
Thank you. I
It's
agree.
yeah,
Everyone looks at me like I'm insane. I'm like, if you're fast, you're coordinated, and you can sound off, well,
yep.
you have no issue.
No, there was literally two, in my opinion, two hard days in boot camp. One of them was on range, and there was nobody to save us, so we just got annihilated all day, right? But here's the thing: even that day, right? It was so shitty for like 3 or 4 hours. But guess what? The whole time we knew that it had to stop at some point. You know what I mean? It's so easy because you know you're not going to be here for for 48 hours, okay? They have to go give you food
It,
here soon. So, they
it's so funny because I learned from the very get go, from like literally day one. We had the green belt just destroyed. Like literally, we got there and it was just rearranged the house. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
just from the moment we got there until chow in the evening. It was just hours and hours and hours and hours of just rearranging the house. And at that moment, I was like, okay, how do I go internal? And when I go internal, what the heck do I do? For me, I literally go internal and start singing songs in my head.
Yep.
If I start singing songs in my head, doesn't matter what the hell is happening to me, I'm happy.
Mhm.
And it just is my internal, like, if I get there and I can get there ultimately pretty fast, when the suck starts to happen, it just is a glorious day. There's
Yeah.
no if and or but. We can go days and days and days. I'm gonna then break you, and that's just
Yeah.
how it like from the first day. I remember that just like snapping in and happening. I'm like, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
thank
Yep.
God this happened. And I don't know how, because you know what it was. And I could go through stories of this. I never once had a I need to pull over the car. I need to quickly run out of the store real quick to go,
Oh,
use the bathroom real quick. In
you got
boot camp
lucky.
at all. Like,
That's good.
so just locked in,
Oh yeah,
loaded, nothing could affect.
that would have been
Now, if I
rough.
look at something wrong, I may shit
Yep.
my pants.
Yep, yep.
So, like, it's a different level.
Yeah.
It
Nope,
was just
that's
different. I could go internal.
yeah. You know what you want to know what the hardest part about boot camp was for me? And this is
Hmm.
going to sound like a joke. Acid reflux or heartburn, right? I had like the food that we ate, and they you can do. I didn't know what it was because I never had it before, right? My whole life growing up, I never had acid reflux or anything, but it was burning my throat all day in that sun because all we were able to drink was water, and that didn't help. But whatever food they were feeding me gave me such bad heartburn and acid reflux that I had to deal with
Wait a
it
minute.
for
Wait a
three
minute. Wait
months.
a minute. Time out. Time out. You said burning in the sun. What months did you go?
All right. So it was in April and May. Yeah, it was hot. It was hot. May not have been July, but it was hot, motherfucker. Because I mean, fuck you. Fuck you. You didn't have a guy
August,
pass out.
September. I hit all the fucking hot months, motherfucker. I hit all of them.
Yeah, you didn't have a guy pass out during your graduation though because it was too hot. So, um, shut up.
That's because none of us were bitches.
Yeah, no, he was no, no. That guy, I swear to God, he had narcolepsy. That kid used to fall asleep while we were walking. It was the craziest thing in the world. That was because he locked his knees, so he passed out and hit his face. But literally used to fall asleep while we were walking.
Did you ever get to the point to where you could march and sleep?
No, I don't know. I was always. I mean, I'm still really good on hour, 2 hours of sleep. I'm fine. You know what I mean? And it doesn't
Well,
have to be an
you were
hour
also
straight.
squad
Yeah,
You
that
were up
probably.
front. You couldn't
I didn't get to sleep. I
you
didn't
couldn't
get
get
to
away
eat.
with it. I was
Oh yeah,
yeah. Um, I didn't have the same role and task as you did, but I can promise you, um, I did not get to eat at the chow hall very often.
yeah, yeah,
So I can tell you, when I did eat at the chow hall, I was typically the first in and the first out because I was ran back over because good old Maytag, I was doing
yeah.
84 man laundry every single day, which was fucking disgusting.
Disgust.
84 recruits
I
fucking
never even
laundry,
thought about that.
okay?
Oh,
I don't even want to like it is fucking disgusting.
yeah, because it's not even if I'm
One of the worst jobs I've ever had in the military. And that's like embrace the suck.
yeah,
Don't tell me people had a shitty like oh I had a shitty time. We had the opposite experiences in all the trainings if you think about it. Boot camp, you had the leadership. I had the shit job, just the fucking shit job. Um, all the other trainings, I was leadership in every single one, and I could
yeah,
not get away with doing fucking anything. It was
yep. And
just
mine was the opposite.
regime, like because I said, fuck being the trash man,
Yeah,
fuck this. I
I did.
refuse this.
I did the
I will
opposite.
tell people to do the laundry.
They made me be a
Ugh.
squad.
Well, that's the thing. You got the leadership be like, I've seen this. I'm not being
That's
responsible for people's
exactly
shit.
it.
I
As
saw the
soon as yeah,
I was like, I would rather be responsible for people's shit than have to be the person being told to do the dumb shit.
yeah, yeah. No, I just well, I think that I don't remember. I told you to try and get one of the jobs, but I don't think it was Maytag. I don't remember. Oh, maybe it was because our Maytag guys were the. I mean, they didn't have to do.
You told me to get the house mouse. House
Oh,
mouse.
house mouse would have been better. Yeah, you just get to clean the senior drill instructor's hut. Um,
That's what you told me because every once in a while they got the bars.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But also, our Maytag guys when we were getting fucked up, they were just washing laundry. Like they wouldn't make eye contact with us. They were like, "Oh, we just fucking pretend we're not over there."
Okay. What I will say is this. I got away with quite a bit of things because my heavy,
Uh
and
huh.
to this day, my heavy, that drill master to this, like we won honorable
Yeah.
tune everything. This man realized I should have been a squad leader and knew I was at the top and just
Yeah.
said, "You're not gonna get fucked up, bud. You're gonna
Yeah.
go do laundry when people get fucked up." And I said, "You got it.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be
Yeah.
wherever you need me when you need me."
That was the only good thing. Like again, whenever we were getting fucked up, Maytag was just like folding camis, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck you guys, piece of shit." Yep. They
That shit was perfect.
yeah, yeah.
But
Um,
still this to this day, man, I got one Marine messed up bad because it was in getting towards one of our final inspections, and Whitey Tighties, he couldn't fucking hold it. He took a shit and he decided to put it in between the bays and I had to go outside and hang laundry. And I walked out that door and saw whitey tighties with a fucking, and you know everything's marked, buddy. Like you're
Yeah,
not getting away
your
with
name
anything.
is ironed on there.
Nah, he thought he could just bundle it and throw it out and no one would ever find him. Dude, I went straight to my heavy and I was
You got to see this.
Whitline, sir.
Oh,
Sir. Emergency, sir. What are you talking about? Recruit. And like I'm trying to keep a straight face and I'm like,
yeah.
and I'm getting yelled at and I'm like, and I'm like, sir, and I drag him over there and he's like, oh my fucking God. Just picked them up with 2 fingers, walked in the middle of the hallway and just threw them down the hall and just fucking everyone online.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Luckily, I stayed in the background, laughing my ass off.
Yep. That
Because
is.
he's like, guess what recruit Geeson found?
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
my
Luckily,
God.
it was the weakest person in the platoon. So, no issue for me.
Nope. That's. Oh man. That's gross.
He was the well, I don't even know what those are called anymore. The booger recruit, is that what it was?
Oh, we had a booger platoon. There was a platoon that was shitty. We called them the booger platoon.
What's that one recruit? What's the one recruit? I can't remember the name of it. Every platoon maybe has a different name for it. But that one recruit that just needed to drop the fuck out, and they just never did.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys call them.
And they dragged down the entire platoon.
Yeah.
Either way, fuck that dude, Meese. Fuck that dude.
Meese.
That dude fucking caused hell.
Yeah.
Recruit Meese. Fucking little measle. Fucking just fat fucking piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
Should
we had
not have been a Marine. You know.
Yep.
You just have those people who get pushed through, failed everything, but still just got pushed through.
And that's why I'll go back to my previous statement.
Shocked me.
Yeah, the previous statement that boot camp is the easiest. Literally, the people that I saw get through there, you know what I mean? And when people tell me, oh, I couldn't do it. Yeah, the fuck you could. It's really not that hard. You know?
There were people who should not have made it through, and they just did not quit, so they made it. There was other people who quit, who could have easily made it through. They just didn't have the mindset. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get the whole thing, the mindset, but like there's a mindset and an appearance thing that I think go hand in hand.
Like to your point though, like the people that didn't quit, that made it through, some of them didn't even complete all of the tasks, and they still made it through. You know what I mean? So they didn't quit, but they also didn't even do half the work, and they're still here. You know, some of them are staff sergeants right now. Do you know how fucking mind-boggling that is? Some of them are about to pick up E7.
It shows you, though, that even when we were in, we saw those staff sergeants, we saw those E6, those E7s, even some of those E8s were just there long enough
to get their retirement.
That was just there long enough. You respected the rank, not the name.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yep, that's a great way to put it.
Then you had those good first sergeant gunnies, like that rank, that name, it had some oomph behind that shit. Like, you know when they're walking through.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, let's stop before we keep going. It's already over an hour, or almost an hour. So, guess we'll pick it up next week. Anything else?
Okay. No, that's it.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Nope.